Oh, thrones and succession, always a path to family strength, tradition, symbolism, conspiracies, lies, and bloody murder plots. Ramses III is often characterized as a symbolic pharaoh, remarked by many as a warrior, but one who ultimately oversaw the decline of ancient Egypt. The military ventures throughout his reign would slow the decline of ancient Egypt in the late Bronze Age, but uncertainty rattled the entire state and even the royal court. As Egypt's global influence dwindled, Ramses III desired his son Ramses IV as heir to the throne. Yet one of his wives, Queen Tiye, had other ideas and was willing to go further than any to make them happen. Welcome to History on Fleek. Today we examine what really happened to Ramses III. While nearly a millennia old, there is a spellbinding historical transcript of Ramses III's fate, held in the Museo Egizio in Turin to this day. The judicial papyrus of Turin survives as a legal record of the 12th century ancient Egypt. The document itself is a collection of several texts in papyrus that outline a plot to assassinate Ramses III. Within the text, the prime conspirators named in the plot were Queen Tiye, aligning herself with high-ranking official Pebekamen. According to the papyrus, Queen Tiye wanted her son Pentaweret to succeed Ramses III on the throne and was willing to gather inside parties to help her make this so. With the aid of Pebekamen, Tiye enlisted Panheboni, a cattle overseer, Master Surya, a pantry chef, Pendua, a clerk of the harem, Panuk, an overseer of the harem. These parties would commit what would be known as the harem conspiracy. The Papyrus of Turin accounts for these individuals being put to trial for their action. Over 5 trials took place, and 28 people in total were executed for their role in the conspiracy. So what exactly happened in the royal harem in 1155 BC? After 32 years of sitting on the throne in ancient Egypt, a conspiracy would befall Ramses III, and it would lead to his demise. Queen Tiye and her conspirators were counting on timing to present them with the ultimate opportunity to strike. When the attempt on Ramses' life was made, he was attending the royal harem at Medinet Habu for the annual Egyptian festival. The beautiful Feast of the Valley was an annual celebration in the Egyptian calendar, one that would preoccupy the entire Egyptian public. It was the ideal time for an unexpected strike against the most unexpected target. Through her established contacts and conspirators within the royal harem, people were played like pawns to play out the conspiracy, passing messages well beyond the harem confines. The word to the masses was clear: a rebellion is on. Gather everyone you can, the pharaoh is going down. With enough commotion and distraction raised outside the harem walls, Queen Tiye and her harem insiders had their opening. Their position and status meant the conspirators could gain a pass to access to the king through the king's treasurer, Pari. That very night, as Egypt celebrated the beautiful Feast of the Valley, Ramses III would die. With the pharaoh slain, Queen Tiye and the conspirators had accomplished their goal. Or had they? So Ramses III was slain through an assassination plot, but this was far from immediately clear. For a long time, the severity of the plot and its machinations were not historically understood. After all, Ramses IV succeeded his throne as was his wish. And lo and behold, Pentaweret did not, as was Queen Tiye's wish. To back this up, the excavated mummy of Ramses III displayed no obvious wounds. Was the harem conspiracy all a great big nothing? Enter modern technology. In 2011, both German and Egyptian forensic teams did extensive examinations of Ramses III's mummy, including a CT scan. While the work by the German team revealed extensive bandaging around the mummy's neck, the CT scan by the Egyptian team unveiled its purpose. Underneath the bandages lay a knife wound in the throat of such depth it reached the vertebrae at the back of the neck. There was no doubt this was a lethal injury that no human would survive. Furthermore, the CT scan also revealed a big toe missing from the mummy. A clean removal, likely with a heavy blade. Examination revealed that no healing could be found along the bone, meaning the toe was removed not long before Ramses' death. The conspiracy had been proven true. The pharaoh was slain, and the tales of dastardly culprits being accountable appeared all too real. But if they whacked the guy, how come Pentaweret never reached the throne? Despite Ramses III meeting a bloody demise, from there on the entire story unfolds into a tale of two sons. Yes, Ramses was conspired against in the name of he and Queen Tiye's son, Pentaweret, being heir to the throne. However, it would be his other son and rightful heir, Ramses IV, who would bring justice to the proceedings. Likely aided by members of the royal harem who were not roped into the conspiracy, Ramses IV quickly treated the situation for what it was: an apparent murder in search of suspects. The new pharaoh assembled a court of 12 magistrates to oversee the trials that would round up and bring the conspirators to account. The regicide was not taken lightly. Not just the conspirators, but any associated with the act were brought to trial. Even judges who were accused of associating with accused women had their noses and ears cut off their heresy. In the majority, those trialed and found guilty were given the harshest possible death: immolation, burned to death, an assured way to deny a path to the afterlife. For added insult, their ashes were hurled into the streets, not scattered at a place of meaning. Despite a body count of 28, one party's fate in particular remains a mystery. Queen Tiye, the wicked stepmother of this antiquated fable, shows no record of meeting her fate at the trials. Did Ramses IV show mercy on the woman that plotted her father's death? Quite possibly so. However, you might want to take a look at how he treated his brother. You know, the guy who kinda tried to steal his spot? Yeah, that didn't work out so well for him. Even though the plot that slayed Ramses III was successful to that end, its actual benefactor, Pentaweret, would see no such success. No different from any of the named and shamed conspirators, Pentaweret was made to stand trial for his participation in the plot. Unlike other nobles in the plot, brought to disgrace through the most damning death and non-burial possible, Pentaweret was given a different choice. We won't go out of our way to kill you, but you sure can kill yourself. For his disgrace, the pining prince was ordered to take his own life following the trial. It's hard to understand exactly what the contemporary view of Pentaweret was. The burning he was saved from could not entirely have been in good faith. Saving him from death by burning, he was being permitted a potential path to the afterlife, even in disgrace. Or that's how it would appear from an unknowing distance. Possibly Ramses IV and his allies within the royal harem were clear about who the real culprits were: Queen Tiye and her inner member of the royal court. With this in mind, Pentaweret would have been seen as nothing more than a relatively unknowing party in the matter. It's more than possible he was entirely excluded from the killing of his father. Was Pentaweret spared as the wrong guy in the wrong place at the wrong time? Not so fast. Pentaweret was given the fitting fate of someone who betrayed their father, even if burning was not the way. Some 700 years after the death of his father and the conspiracy that felled him, a curious mummy was discovered in 1881. For what should have been a carefully embalmed cadaver, the mummy stood out. It was discovered wrapped in sheep and goat skin and did not have organs removed. This body was far from properly mummified. DNA tests in 2012 would identify the mummy correctly as sharing the DNA of Ramses III. It is possible that Ramses IV paid his brother the ultimate neglect he could offer in his disgrace. Offered a path to the afterlife, but only just. Mummified, but not really. You can go to the afterlife if they'll have ya. Pentaweret was served a comeuppance, buried in disgrace. This is History on Fleek, and we'll see you next time.